What sort of task, whoever it is that comes in to replace him, have they got on their hands with this current squad?
I don't think there is any person capable of changing this squad right now into a top 4 side. Never mind winning a Premier League or competing for titles. And that means Arsenal needs an overhaul. And that means they're going to have somebody who comes in who is very disciplined, very strong. But, of course, the board at Arsenal want to play a certain way. This guy coming in is going to have all these things. And that means that narrows it down to very few.
There are decent players, though, aren't there, Shan? Within that squad, you get some fresh blood, new coach, a little bit of spark.
There are some good players in that squad. There are some good players in that squad, and yes, you do need fresh blood. The challenge here is you don't have European football to offer. So automatically, all things being equal, there are a lot better options if you want to move to either English football or to big European clubs. So you're going to have to find somebody who can work with maybe not Europe's brightest stars and form them.
But they can still attract decent players, sure.
You can attract decent players, but all things being even, let's say Spurs and Arsenal are after the same player. Let's assume Spurs finish top 4, and Spurs is a better option if Spurs can offer that player Champions League football. Or do you go to Atletico Madrid or Arsenal? Because they can offer Champions League. The options are endless.
But what they can guarantee you is first-team football. There aren't many clubs of that. So you mentioned Spurs, Liverpool as well. You know, you're in a situation...
Hold on a second. Let's look at this in the bare facts. You're telling me that a player with ambition who wants to get to the very top, unless he's a teenager, is going to go to a side who, in the depth charts, from where you want to be to where they are, you're probably going to have to step over a dozen, 15 teams around the world. So really, going to the team that's 16th or 17th, you ain't getting anybody who thinks they're going to be ending up at the very top.
As a comparison, I think Juventus have done a fantastic job at bringing in players who may be surplus to requirements elsewhere. Douglas Costa, Sami Khedira, Cuadrado, the list goes on and on. Now, and I know this is a desperately unfair comparison, but if Douglas Costa has a choice between going to Juventus and going to Arsenal, it's going to be Juventus all day long because you can get Champions League football. You might go to Arsenal and be guaranteed a starting spot, but what Juventus can offer, just in terms of Champions League, that's the bigger attraction for players of that ilk.
And by the way, Arsenal are not buying their way out of trouble. You know that for sure.
Jules, who's their new manager going to be? You told me you knew.
Well, that's that's the million-dollar question still, Dan. And I think they're making progress. I think Ivan Gazidis, the CEO, Sven Mislintat, and Raul Sanllehi, who are in charge of recruitment, if you want, or director of football, whatever you want to call it, are making progress. But I don't think they're near appointing anyone. I think there's a lot of candidates. We've seen recently against Zlatko Buvac, who is Jurgen Klopp's assistant at Liverpool, who's stepping down from that role at Liverpool, being heavily linked with Arsenal. I don't think there's much truth in it, but it shows you that pretty much everyone and anyone is being linked with this job, which I don't think makes Arsenal's job easier to appoint someone. So they will get there. They still have a bit of time, but the pressure is growing as long as, they're waiting to appoint someone. So I think they will let the season end and Wenger having his farewell, and after that only they will appoint someone. But it's a huge call. They can't get it wrong because, as the boys have been saying, the situation is bad enough already that if you get the wrong man in charge, it's going to get worse and worse, and they just can't afford that right now.